I'm Ian McConnell, and I'm uncomfortable with Ian McConnell. This is Uncomfortable with Ian McConnell. Brought to you by Pivotal Moments Media.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome to Uncomfortable with Ian McConnell, presented by Pivotal Moments Media. I'm Ian McConnell, and I'm uncomfortable with myself. It could be because of the grapes that I ate on the way here. They were not very good grapes. I have found that grapes are bad if they're your grapes. If someone else offers you grapes, it's always like, oh, hell yeah, I love grapes. And then you get them and you're like, this is a delicious grape. But if I own the grapes, then I don't want to eat them. And perhaps that's because I'm expecting the grapes that I buy to be bad already, but potentially it's because whoever's giving you grapes, they're not going to give you the shitty grapes. They're just going to give you the good grapes. But I see all of the grapes, and so I'm like, okay, most of these are bad. I'm going to try and find like the 11 or 12 really like crisp, good grapes out of like the 700 mushy brown ones. So anyway, I was eating grapes on the way here, and most of them are still in the car. Potentially it's because I bought them at Aldi. I do love Aldi. I shop at Aldi all the time, but I famously several years ago ragged on some Aldi produce with this little song that I put online that was like, I get my peaches at the Aldi, they're not great, all the produce is kind of sketchy at that place, but you know I be hella thrifty, yeah I save, so I settle for eating fruit that's just okay. It is true. Yeah, you can clap. We have an amazing number of people here today. It's really lovely. Thank you all for being here. I'm excited to hang out with everybody who's here, and whoever is on the camera over there underneath the very bright light. It's cool. I once dated somebody who, like 4 months into dating, she was like, hey, I gotta tell you something I haven't told you. And I was like, oh, what is it? And she's like, I actually heard you sing about peaches online several months before we met. And I was like, oh, rad. I don't know why it became a big deal that you are telling me this now. But anyway, that is just kind of how it happens. I find that I have this train of thought, and it's very logical in my brain, but I can't tell you all of the logic that occurs, so it appears that I'm just jumping around, and there's no like logical way about it. But to me, it's like, oh, this goes here, and this goes here, and this goes here, and this goes here. I have learned that the music that I make is very popular with people who have ADHD. I don't think that I have ADHD, but like 10 months ago, I was playing this show, and this like 50-something-year-old woman came up to me, and she's like, I really enjoyed your show. You were so wonderful. You remind me so much of my son. He also has ADHD. And I was like, right on. He sounds amazing, because, you know, I remind you of him, so he must be great. But in my mind, I'm like, I do not have ADHD. But as I keep releasing music, I get messages online. They're like, wow, thank you so much for like really chronicling what it's like to have ADHD and live life. And I'm like, you're so welcome. I don't know, man. It does make me think. I don't know if I have it. I definitely have the H part. I got like all this energy, and I'm moving quickly all the time, and everything's like, blah, 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 blah. And the attention, I just don't feel like it's a disorder. I just feel like I've lived several different ways now. Like I've lived a very focused life. I've lived a very rule-based life, and I've lived a life where I allow my attention to be flexible. And I found that I enjoy life more if I allow my attention to be flexible. If I'm like, okay, this is interesting now, and then I'm like kind of done with this, and now I'm interested in this thing over here. I find that it allows me to be fascinated in pretty much any situation. I've built this hypothesis about myself that if I am in any situation, good, bad, neutral, whatever, I will find a way to find fascination with it. And I've yet to disprove that hypothesis. This past weekend, I was at my buddy's wedding. I was in my buddy's wedding. The first wedding that I was in, I was a groomsman. At the rehearsal part, after I'd done my like walking down and stuff, we were at the good part of the rehearsal where for 40 minutes I rehearsed standing there still. So I was like, I'm going to find fascination in this moment, and it's not going to be fascinated in these two people that I'm going to see to actually do this tomorrow. This is not very exciting. So I'm going to look around this chapel. It's a lovely chapel. Okay, cool. Some of the light is blocked by these shutters. These shutters are made of like wooden slats up here. I wonder how many wooden slats are visible in this chapel. So I'm like looking around. I was like, okay, cool. All right, there's 24 windows in here. 2/3 of them are covered. So that's 16 windows. Each window is covered by 6 panels of shutters. Each panel has like, it's hard to tell from far away how, you know, like finding out, like figuring out numbers from far away is difficult. Like there's some lights over there, and I can tell that there are 6 of them. But like if there were much more than that, it would be very hard, because you can't, like, from far away, it's hard to be like, okay, there's like 3, 6, 9, whatever. Anyway, I think there are like 60. There might have been 50. There might have been 70. But and standing at this wedding rehearsal, like, okay, there's 60 slats per panel times 6 panels times 16 windows. So 60 times 6 times 16. 60 times 6 is 360. 360 times 10 is 3,600. 360 times 5 is 1,800. 3,600 times 1,800 is 5,400. Plus 360 is 5,760 slats. That feels like too many slats, but I think that's right. I think there were 5,760 slats blocking a certain amount of light from coming in for whatever reason. But each slat, by that logic, was only of all of the light that was being blocked from coming into this chapel. Each slat was only blocking less than 0.02% of that light. So each slat is doing just such a tiny little part, but they all work together. And I just thought that was really cute of the slats for doing that. I don't know why they were covered. It was really a nice day, and I thought maybe the sun would come in, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it was gonna blow out the visual for the photographer or whatever, or maybe it was gonna stop things from being too hot in there, because it was hot in February down in Greenville, South Carolina. I don't know if that's a climate change thing or if it's just like a random day thing. I never know these days. I feel like I've talked to people and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so hot today. It's because of climate change. I'm like, okay, well, like each individual day is probably not because of climate change. Like overall trends, yes, that is probably true. But like, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm not a climate scientist. I know a little bit about a lot of things, which is really fantastic, I think. But it's not so good if you want to like be a master at something, because I don't have the desire to like set my mind to something and like be really great at it. I'm like, I'm going to set my mind to something until I get bored, which is like 30 minutes from now. And then I'll be like, okay, what else can I set my mind to? And that will be great. But I used to be really worried about climate change, and these days, I think it's something to worry about. Honestly, I think it's a, it's a big change, and I think that we're not really doing a whole lot about it. But also, like, the ball is rolling now. Like, what am I gonna do? Stand in the way of the train? It's just gonna run me over and just keep going. At this point, I feel like I have lived a life now where I've been upset about climate change. Like, yeah, we need to like change something, and then like it's just like, who am I? Who am I? It's not gonna stop. I feel the same way. I was talking with some buddies yesterday after playing spike ball. Spike ball is this game where you have like this little bouncy net, and there's 4 people. And it's like a mix between volleyball and foursquare, and you serve it, and then the other team has 3 like little hits to get it back, and then you try and get it past to your other team, and then you play to 21, and it's great. It's a game, or I don't know if it's a sport or not. I don't know what qualifies something to be a sport versus a game. I feel like maybe if there's like a league for it, is that a sport? I don't know if there's a spike ball league, but because I don't put my mind to it and I just play, once every month or whatever, I'm like, I'm pretty good at this game. If I joined a league, I'm like kind of scared to join a league because I would be like, oh, I'm actually not good at this at all. All these people actually try, and then I would lose some self-image about myself, and that would be kind of a bummer. But I've done it before and I've survived, so I feel like maybe I could do it again. Anyway, was playing spike ball yesterday. After this, we were all talking about all these like AI things. There's this new trend on TikTok of the last 3 presidents like gaming together and like trash talking, and it's all voices of them done by AI, and you can't tell that it's not them. It's Joe Biden and Trump and Obama all like trash talking each other while playing Call of Duty or whatever, and it's so funny. But my friends were like, man, it's really scary. Like now, like because these AI voice fakes are so good, like any kind of audio evidence is now like right out in the court of law. And someone else was like, oh my gosh, I'm like so scared of AI, and I'm like, I feel like that's super valid. I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to stop it? The thing about humans, and the thing that I've found about myself, and I just don't think I'm that unique, is that we adapt to our situations. We adapt to a new normal. I remember when like COVID kind of went around, it like, within a month I was like, oh yeah, this is just what we do. And I feel like with AI, we're going to get there too. It might have a lot of casualties, just like climate change will. There might be a lot of people that get left behind and all that stuff, but I do not know what to do about it. So I can either be upset and just have being upset be my frame of mind, or I can be like, I can control only what I'm doing right this second, and not the future, and not the past. I can't change the past, can't really control the future. I used to get really like nervous if like I was like, okay, well, I think that this is how this thing is going to go, and if it doesn't go like that, I'm going to like freak out or whatever. And now I just feel like, you know what? There's so many variables that I don't know and that I can't predict. I can put myself in the best position to do a good job in this situation, but like once I've done like a reasonably good job, I don't know what else, is left to do. How did I get here? ADHD. Yes. Maybe there's something to it. Anyway, I was thinking about all this yesterday, and I made this song, and I made it literally yesterday, so I'm going to look at the words. But it's called Being Like This, and I'm looking forward to finding people who are like this so I can ask them what they're doing about it. Here we go. It has a little fun intro that I made up. It's really not very intricate, but I thought it was fun. That was it. You can clap for the intro. It's a great intro. Yeah, amazing intro. Thank you. I like being called by my name to my face. It's amazing to be known in a way where in any conversation there's a sound you could make that'll focus my attention on you. I like being looked in the eye anytime, even if I'm on a walk and you're just passing by. It reminds me someone else is aware I'm alive for a second or two. And I don't know how specific my experience is, but I'm no experience. Let's try again. And I don't know how specific my experience is, so my new experiment is saying what it's like to be me honestly and totally. Then I figure anyone who gathers round is someone I can ask about how they're dealing with it. Being like this. I like smoking weed and I kind of feel ashamed of it, but man, I do love it. That way of seeing the world from just outside it, kind of like a puzzle. Even though it's legal, I'm so scared to get in trouble. There's so much that I've gotten over, but there's twice that left to go. Still trying to work it out for myself, but I'm open to receiving some help, cause I don't know how specific my experience is. So my new experiment is saying what it's like to be me honestly and totally. Then I figure anyone who gathers round is someone I can ask about how they're dealing with it. Being like this. Sometimes I feel like a character in a book, just wandering through the story, knowing my part will end, so making sure not to skim. Can't go back and read again, so anything that I miss is lost forever. I'm trying to learn everything that I can about me and what's around me, especially all the things that are a little ungrounding. I'm down for the adventure, I think it sounds fun, and I'm probably not the only one, but I don't know how specific my experience is. So my new experiment is saying what it's like to be me honestly and totally. Then I figure anyone who gathers round is someone I can ask about how they're dealing with it. Being like this. Thank you. Thank you. Being like this. The first person I'm going to ask what it's like to be like this is my new friend that I've actually never met before, Whitney Miller, who's going to be coming up for the next little bit here. A little bio about Whitney Miller. She has been announced to be very cute by our lovely Jeremy, who is running the sound in the video. You can come up if you want to just kind of bring stuff over here, then we'll make it happen. She's something involving kickboxing and something involving singing, but we decided yesterday on the phone in our 1 minute and 42-second conversation, that was our only discussion, that it would be fun and it would be a cool experiment to just treat each other like we were talking at a party and that we had never met before. And so here's 20 minutes of getting to know Whitney Miller. Amazing. Woo.
Right on.
Hi.
Hey. Now we get to talk longer than 1 minute. I tried to talk to you a few minutes before we got on air, and he's like, stop. The whole point of this is to get to know you.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're from, I heard you're from Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long have you been not in Texas?
A year, just over a year.
You were in Texas that whole time?
My whole life.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Born and raised, never left. I travel a lot, so that kind of helped. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm like Texan through and through.
Yeah. What kept you there? Do you just like it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn up.
Yeah. I was in Austin. Austin's really cool. It's a music city. There's tons of really great food, big lake scene, big outdoor scene. So yeah, it was pretty dope.
Okay. So what were you doing when you were in Texas? What do you, yeah.
So when I was in Texas, I had kind of a different story. So
okay. I like different stories.
I'll start a little bit prior to me moving to Nashville. And I grew up in South Texas with my dad, and I was a professional wake surfer. So I taught everyone how to wake surf behind the boat.
Wake surf?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like when they tie like a surfboard to the end of a boat?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can ride the wave without the rope.
Without the rope?
Yeah.
How do you keep going?
Because of the momentum of the wave.
Oh, the wave like keeps going forward. I
Yeah.
gotta look up the physics on that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Don't ask me science.
Because I guess
on how
it
works, but-
it displaces the water, and the water has to fill in from behind it, maybe. And that's how it. You said don't ask, and I just asked.
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
sorry.
total sense.
Yeah, it feels right. It feels
When
right.
you were doing your math earlier, I was like, God.
Yeah,
I could never.
Numbers are great. They're everywhere. How many panels do you think are in this thing? We could find out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4.
27.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
know.
Yeah.
That's how I do math. I
24.
I wasn't too far off.
No. You weren't. It was pretty close. Ooh, actually, there might be another one. So it's 30. So it's between 24 and 30, which
Okay.
halfway is 27.
All
That's a
right,
great
I'll
little
take it.
guess.
I mean, my math skills aren't great, so I'm just going to go with my intuition on that.
Yeah,
I
cool.
feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. Have you always worn lots of bling? You got a lot of bling.
Do I?
I have no bling. I mean, I have a watch.
Man,
but,
usually I have rings on too, and I don't have it where I left them at home.
Wow, I feel really like bling
it.
slighted.
You should actually.
Okay. Oh,
So I was a professional wake surfer, and a friend of mine asked me if I wanted to compete in Miss Texas, and
Okay. That's.
I said
Tell me
no.
about Miss Texas. What is that?
Miss Texas is a beauty pageant.
Oh, turn up. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I did that.
Yeah.
And I won that, and then I went to Miss
Hey,
United
that's
States.
cool.
Yeah, that was crazy. That
Yeah.
was a trip. I was like, wait, are you guys sure? I
Were
don't know
you
about
like, when you were going through all of that, do you feel like you were able to look around and be like, I'm assessing this situation and I know how I feel about it? Or do you have?
that? Yeah, I mean a little bit, but I was still shocked when I won. I was
Yeah.
like the oddball out. Like I wasn't like a toddler in tiara that grew up doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just kind of made the vow. I was like, I'm going to go and be Whitney and not worry about what the judges want me to be.
That's probably why you won.
And it worked.
Yeah,
It worked
fantastic.
out, thankfully.
Yeah.
And then went to Miss United States, won Miss United States, and was Miss United States for a year.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
Yeah,
That's
that
pretty
was
rad.
that was also a trip.
Yeah. Okay, so we're 4 minutes in and you're Miss United States.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Thanks.
Okay, what was that like after? To like, because you are Miss United States for a year, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, what is that year like?
You're traveling all over the place. You're doing different charity events. You're doing different galas and
Yeah.
photo shoots. And I mean, honestly, you're just kind of like an employee of the United States.
Totally. Well, what was like that's kind of what you did professionally, but like, what was your life like for that bit?
I was just always on the road.
Okay.
Always on the road. I had a job at the time where I worked the graveyard shift at a home shopping network. It was like my first job out of college.
Were you like
2
on the
a.m.
television, like selling
Yes,
things?
it's live television. From
That's amazing.
2 a.m.
I
to
wish we could show
6
that.
a.m.
It's
Oh
so
my
great.
God. If there was some.
Do you remember any of your
footage out there,
products?
I sold the worst jewelry in the history of all of the land.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I
What
mean,
makes
imagine-
jewelry bad?
It's like $3.99 rubies, you know? And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like people
Rubies,
who are
EEZ,
buying
yeah.
exactly. People who are buying these rubies at 4 a.m. in the morning is just an interesting bunch.
No kidding. Man, I wish we need to get some of those people on the podcast. That would be
I
fun.
know, seriously, that would be entertaining.
Okay, so that was while you were Miss USA.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I quit that job. Thank
Right.
God.
Okay.
Because I couldn't handle. I like to go to sleep early and wake up early.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So going to work at 10 p.m. and then coming home at 6 a.m. was just like a hell no for me.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
whole like mentally that really screwed me up.
Yeah.
So I won Miss United States and then I was able to quit that job.
Okay, so you were on this before Miss United States
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
occurred. Okay, so this is this like your first like when you are the home shopping network. Like, is that like your first job? Is that like your first?
That was
like,
my first like
gig,
real job.
Yeah.
Out of
Rad.
college.
Okay, and so
outside
then
of being like a waitress or a bartender or something like that.
So I can imagine, I'm putting myself in this situation. I can imagine like the initial thing of Miss USA is like, thank goodness I just don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So how long does that high last?
I think I'm still glad I don't have to do that job anymore.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, you're just so busy during that year. And so finally, you do get a little tired of going to certain places. People are telling you who to talk to, what to say, what to wear, how to stand, where to smile, what we're going to talk about. And I was always like, there's a love-hate relationship with me because I didn't grow up doing pageants. And I've always been kind of like, I do everything on my own terms.
Right.
And so I'm sure they were excited to have someone like me, but then also when I handed my crown over, they were like, good riddance.
Yeah. Did you have difficulty following instructions?
Yeah, a little bit, because I just wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to be my type of role model, not what they wanted me to be a role model as.
Yeah, totally. And like, that's why they picked you in theory,
right?
Because you're like, oh, you're so unique. Now let's make you just like everybody else.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah, that didn't work out well.
Okay, cool. All right. So when was this?
That was in 2013.
2013. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so 10 years have gone by.
Yeah.
So what is like one or two things that happened in the last 10 years since then?
So when I handed my crown over, I decided I wanted to go into fighting because I was like, what is the hardest challenge that I could possibly put not only myself through, but also everyone else who thought what a beauty pageant winner has to be, because usually at that point people are like, okay, so now it's time to get married and have babies and go for it, and that's just not on my flight plan, you know. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get punched in the face. So I went to full fight camp in Thailand, and full fight camp out in Santa Monica under Tony Jeffries, and took a fight. And I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, so did a ton of jiu-jitsu tournaments, won my fight, and then started doing commentary for kickboxing all over the world.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
which was the coolest job ever.
Yeah. What is like the demographic of people who come to kickboxing fights?
Men
mostly? Yeah. Female kickboxing fights? Or were you commentating for male and female?
Well, both? There's only, it's very male dominated. So out of however many fights we have, we maybe 2% were female.
Okay. So you were fighting men and women?
I was commentating.
Oh,
so I was
right.
Okay.
But are the women fighting the men also? Like, is
no.
Okay.
No, it's women against women. I'm sure there's some there's definitely been talk about some organizations having men fighting women, but I just think that's weird, and that's going to be a no for me.
Totally.
So I'll interview them.
Do you know who Andy Kaufman is?
No.
Okay. He was a comedian who used to, a long time ago, he got kicked off of SNL because he would go into wrestling things and invite women to fight him, and then he would beat them.
Well, obviously.
It was It was pretty rude, but yeah, people, they got really upset with him.
Yeah, understandable. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Okay. But you're here now.
Yes.
So you got from kickboxing to here. So someone heard you commentating and they're like, okay, you should sing.
No, I wish. Okay. During this whole time, I really wanted to be a singer, and I always put on shows for my parents and things like that. But someone really close to me when I was 10 years old told me I couldn't sing. And
that sticks with you.
Oh man, did it stick with me.
Yeah.
It changed the trajectory of my life.
I feel like those things either make you like, oh no, I can't sing, or it's like, I'll show you.
God,
like all the rap songs are like, my 4th grade teacher said I couldn't do rap.
Yeah. And I was like, you're right, I can't, and I suck.
Yeah.
So I went the other way and totally it became a phobia of mine.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was walking by outside that could possibly hear me sing, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
And so finally, I just realized that if I don't try this out, then I'm going to be on my deathbed wondering what if you did that? And that was more scary to me than actually just taking the steps to get over this fear.
Yeah.
So I hired a vocal coach just to get over the fear of singing in front of somebody. I had to take beta blockers just to go to my vocal lesson.
Oh, nice. I don't know what that is. What is a
lot of performing people take it, but it cuts your adrenaline.
Oh, cool.
So you don't get shaky or sweaty or anything like that. And so you just can't feel.
My little talk would have been about 30% slower, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Okay, rad.
Yeah. So just to help me get over that fear. And I went to a studio and the owner of the studio was like, hey, there's something here if you want to do this. And I was like, this is my chance. Let's go. Yeah. And so ever since that moment, which was at the height of COVID, I decided okay, we're doing this, moved to Nashville. At this point, I've released 2 songs, and I'm going to release new music every 4 weeks.
That's great. Yeah. I used to do that. I did that for 30 months.
Really?
I did a song a month for 30 months. It was awesome. It was awesome. The first 2 were and then the last few, I was listening to them this weekend. I was like, man, I really crushed those. That was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, every time I tell somebody that, they're like, oof, that's a lot of hard work. So I'm glad to talk to you where you're like, oh, great, you should do that.
Yeah.
You're the first person to be like, good idea.
It's awesome. I will say I produce my stuff. So like I was telling Jeremy earlier, like I really like working by myself and just being like, I can work on my own timeline and stuff. So I never had to wait on anybody because I'm just like, oh, this needs to be done. Stay up late and do it.
Okay.
Gotta do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that.
I'm on the waiting game. Yeah, I'm a producer. I'm working with other people. I love to collab with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of the hardest parts is making sure everyone's schedule fits and we can get it all in together. And so we'll see.
Of the okay, so you pursued singing, you pursued commentating, kickboxing, and also kickboxing and the Miss Texas kind of stuff. Was the singing part the scariest one?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
By far.
Do you feel like, are you someone who like kind of chases the thing that you're scared of?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I actually, my whole like motto is using fear as my guiding star.
Yeah, right.
So I have this lame tattoo that I got on 6th Street one night in Austin, Texas, because I was so fed up with myself. I'm like, you're going to get a tattoo that's going to remind you to stop being a loser.
Okay, and what's it saying?
It's the date that I decided to stop being a loser.
Hey, man, everybody got to decide for themselves.
Yeah, I was like, today I'm ending this BS.
Yeah, so are you afraid of being a loser?
In my mind, I am afraid of not doing the things that scare me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely have the fear of being a loser. I feel like I've kind of had to. Mean? I don't know. It depends what your metric is.
That's what I'm saying. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it would be holding myself back, continuing to hold myself back. I would feel like a loser.
Yeah. To me, it would just be. To me, it would be embarrassing myself publicly. That would be way worse than doing nothing at all. Really? If I just stayed by myself and no one ever saw me, then no one would know that you were a loser.
Yeah, but then you had to live with yourself.
Yeah, I love myself.
Oh, okay.
I'm great company to me. I really, all the talking just goes on in my head all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm so interesting.
Oh, so you're entertained.
Yeah, I'm very entertaining to me. I hope I'm entertaining to other people, but I'm definitely entertaining to me.
Yeah. That helps.
It
that
does.
Helps
it
when
does.
You want to crawl into your hole.
There was definitely a time where I was like, oh, I can't stop all the thoughts in my head. But now I'm like, oh, all right, well, if I really can't stop them, then just like embrace it.
Use them.
Just kind of roll.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
It. Yeah.
I know. I think that's something interesting is that we all spend so much time trying to like push things away from us and not wanting it, not trying to look at it. We don't want to do that. When instead it's like, what if we just stopped fighting for a minute? I was like, I'm not mad at these thoughts in my head. Maybe I can use them to my advantage.
Totally.
Which is what I started doing with fear. Like, I really think fear is my guiding star. I do not give myself an out. There is no other option. If I'm afraid of something, I have to do it.
Yeah. Do you like living here now?
I love it.
Okay. What part of town are you in?
I'm like near the Gulch.
Near the Gulch.
I'm
cool.
not far from here.
Yeah, the
all.
Gulch is cool. I've never, because of the parking situation in the Gulch, you have to you only have an hour or whatever. One time I I tried to date somebody there, but I was there a lot trying to date them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I never really went back after that. So now I just associate with the Gulch with that one person. Yeah. And it was totally fine. I mean, it all turned out fine, but it, yeah.
Like y'all dated or you didn't?
No, we did not. No.
Friends?
I really liked
friends now?
No, we're not friends. We just lost touch over the years.
Kind of like fizzled out.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It could be worse. I've had a lot worse.
Yeah. So. If all of our relationships just fizzled out, I feel like maybe the world would be happier.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you dating?
I am.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you like dating somebody, or
I'm
you
dating
just like
somebody? Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
But he lives back in Austin.
Okay. Rad. So is it like a longer term thing?
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah.
We took a break when I moved here because I was like, I knew in my head that when I moved here, I had to come here on my own, and I had to just trust that. And I missed him so much. I was like, God dang it! You think I would be all right? I would be the one that's fine because I broke up with him. Nope.
Did you have a lot of other long-term relationships before that?
I had one very long-term relationship before that. Okay. 8 years.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's a long time.
It's very long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you are able to, I was asking someone this earlier, like, can you imagine like what it's like to live in that life still? Or does it feel like kind of like a dream?
It feels like, it feels like a dream a little bit. It feels like a completely different life.
Yeah. Do you feel like you were different then?
I think I was still coming into my own and trying to learn who I was, you know, but if I just compared the two lives, like what I'm doing and where I'm at, it's literally 180. Like it looks like a total, completely like a pivot. Totally. Yeah. It's kind of like what you were saying earlier. You were talking about how you do something until you kind of get bored of it, which is what I do, which is why I think I've done so many things in my life too.
Yeah.
And people ask me all the time, they're like, don't you think you should stick with one thing?
there are so many things to do. Like, why would you have only one life experience?
Right.
I just like, I guess
know.
if like the goal is like, I want to be the best at something, then like power to you, go and do
Go
that.
for it.
That's great. I don't have that desire. I just feel like I've never been like, I'm going to be the best blank, the best songwriter, the best. I've always been like, you know what? There are going to be people who can outwrite me. I always said this about like my fitness. Like, I can probably run faster than the people that are stronger than me, and I'm probably stronger than the people that are faster than me.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that. I'm good with that, and that's good enough for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's how I am too. I'm very like, I just like to try things
Yeah.
too. You know?
Are
Like,
you an
I'm-
adventurous eater?
Well, to an extent.
Okay. What's that mean?
I don't want to eat like a tarantula or something.
Yeah, okay. Like if it's like, yeah, okay.
No,
if
wait,
it's
what are
like,
you
have you had
talking
like a
about?
snail?
Yeah. Escargot.
Escargot.
I will eat.
It's mostly just butter.
escargot. It's in garlic. My mouth's
Butter.
literally watering right
I know,
now.
man. That sounds good.
Do you
With a
like
little like
crawfish?
crusty bread. Yeah, I do like crawfish.
Love
I'm not
crawfish.
like, you know what I could really go for right now is crawfish. You know.
Oh, that's me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I enjoy crawfish boils, mostly the little corn. That's always fun.
Corn and the potatoes.
Yeah, the corn and potatoes and like the really spicy sausage.
Yeah, so bomb.
That's amazing.
That's what we
I
grew
wonder
up
how
with.
you guys might have had different crawfish boils than we did in South Carolina.
Why? How'd y'all do it?
I don't know, but I would assume that the crawfish are slightly different across, you know, probably the culinary like differences
I
between.
don't know. I feel like they're pretty
thousands of miles
I
apart.
don't know. I would think they're fairly similar because most of crawfish comes from Louisiana.
Oh,
doesn't
that's
it?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how you do your crawfish, but
I don't know.
I'll have
I've never
you
been
over
to
a crawfish
Louisiana.
boil, and then you can have me over, and we'll just see how it goes.
Do you boil crawfish yourself?
My dad does.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Do you also boil all the other stuff like together? I would
Yeah,
assume so. It's kind of
we
like
do.
gumbo, but you stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, gumbo,
Stop
you just keep
cooking before
going.
it overcooks.
amazing. Well, this has been fantastic. I want to keep talking to you, but I know that you have music. Do you want to show
Yeah.
some music?
Let's do
Okay,
it.
you want to play mine? Yeah.
Sure. Yee.
Amazing.
There we
Teamwork.
go. Now we're in business.
Here we are.
I
Two
couldn't
people
do
who
it
don't
with-
like working with other people, working together.
do
Amazing.
it without you. God, I love that. So this song I'll play is called 15 Minutes of Fame. And I just released this a couple months ago or a month ago, and people.com premiered it, which is
Nice.
very cool for me, being my second song. And we were talking about my long-term relationship, and this is very...
The current one or the old one?
The old one.
Okay.
The other one that was like a completely different life. And I wrote this song called 15 Minutes of Fame, and it's very inspired by him, but it's instead of writing it to him, I wrote it to his next girl as kind of like a, just gonna let you know a little something, something, you know? I see there on his arm, looking Hollywood good, and he's wearing his charm. But do you even know that was me and him not 2 weeks ago? And I know it feels good right now. Well, he gets you so high before he brings you down. He'll make you feel like you're famous, like they know what your name is. The attention he's giving is the kind that you crave. But if you saw it from my seat, it's always the same thing. I remember when he made me feel that way. He'll say goodbye, replace you the next day. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame. You'll be the talk of the town, all eyes on you, until you figure out that you ain't the one, just another one. He'll be good and gone, he's had his fun. He'll make you feel like you're famous, like they know what your name is. The attention he's giving is the kind that you crave. But if you saw it from my seat, it's always the same thing. I remember when he made me feel that way. He'll say goodbye, replace you the next day. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame. When the credits roll and the curtains close, you'll be added to the list best parts that he broke. When it comes your time, hell, I'll bring the wine. We can make a toast to the next girl in line. He'll make her feel like she's famous, like they know what her name is. The attention he's giving is the kind that she craves. But if she saw it from our seat, it's always the same thing. I remember when he made us feel that way. He'll say goodbye, replace you the next day. Hope she enjoys her 15 minutes of fame. Minutes of fame. 15 minutes of fame. Minutes of fame. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Your country.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
did you grow up listening to country?
Yeah.
Do you still listen to country? Like what
yeah.
kind of, what do you consume? Because I feel like that says a lot about people.
Country.
Country? Like exclusively?
Americana. I love like Susan Tedeschi and Bonnie Raitt.
Oh yeah.
And, like that's what I really grew up with. Like, those are like my like go-tos. Also ZZ Ward. I love her.
Super cool.
She's
yeah, definitely
such
not
a
country,
vibe.
but
Yeah.
great. Is ZZ Ward Shark in the Water? Is that her song? Did I get that right?
I don't think
Baby,
so.
there's a shark in the water. No, I mean,
I don't know, but I already like that. What is that? Who's that? Oh, well,
I
don't
think
know.
it's ZZ Ward, but it might be somebody else. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm like I'm like blending the two worlds of that with the music that I have coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rad.
She'll be like rooted in country, but if ZZ Ward sang it or
Totally.
something. You know?
This is also your second song, yeah?
Yeah.
That's super cool. It's really good. I'm excited to see like what your like 24th song is going to be too. Because like I know that like I don't listen to my second song. My second song wasn't very good. My first one was great. The second one not so good.
Yeah.
But like 20 songs later was like just so wildly different. You are very like, you know, fiery and you go after things, and I'm just excited to see like where each little, you know, jumping across logs and shit gets you.
I'm
It's gonna
excited
be rad.
to see where it goes too. Because I
Yeah,
have
it's
no
cool.
idea.
You got a
And
great voice. It sounds awesome.
Thank you.
It's you know, obviously I wasn't there, but like on this end, it's like, how could you ever be like, you know, self-conscious of your voice? It sounds great.
Could die.
I know what you mean.
I
though.
also like never accompany myself on guitar.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because I'm still getting like I'm around so many people who are so much better than me at guitar. Like we were talking about, I'm like, you're a master, and that I love to like stand up and like flip my hair. Like I love being a performer.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at that.
Is performing the thing that you feel like you are like really drawn to?
For sure.
Why is it? Because you're like, I'm doing this for you, entertaining you, or it's like I like to feel love, or it's somewhere in between?
I just have so much fun.
Okay.
Like I just have a blast doing it. I mean, me and my friends would party and I would be drunk and I would just be like dancing around like a psycho and like putting on little shows, and like I just have so much fun doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's definitely like where my mindset goes. I'm excited to get out and perform more for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And this was so fun. I feel like we did a good job. I feel like I got to know you nicely. I hope you got to know me in some way.
I got to know you a little bit, but not
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Nobody should know me too much. I can be too much.
You like to be
I know.
alone by anyway. So
I do. I like to come out here and I like to say my thing very loudly and then retreat back to my cave.
Yeah. You just keep us wanting more.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Whitney Miller, thank you so much for coming on Uncomfortable with Ian McConnell, brought to you by Pivotal Moments Media. Thank you to Jeremy for doing our sound and video. Thank you to Almost Friday for hosting us here in Nashville. We'll be back next week. Thank you very much.